Okay, Shalom. Shalom. Kwam Yasha'Allah. Koholoyimla Yahweh. Bahashem Yahushai. Bahashem Rahakwadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and that by the Spirit taught us this beautiful truth. And just want to say the water to all the H.I.M and Ahwa that's out here sincerely keeping the laws, the statutes and commandments of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. This is Yachanan Nawah, just coming at you with another quick lesson, praying that it's edifying by the Spirit. And I'm just saying a little bit more information on this particular subject that I didn't see before with RFK Jr. or Robert F. Kennedy Jr. It says bold proposal, tracking devices for every American to combat cancer and chronic disease. So let me just grab a quick scripture real quick. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices, right? So we know that this man, he comes with smooth words. You know, he tries to tell you that he cares about you. It's always something about safety. Whenever they're trying to implement something, it's always something that's going to benefit you, or at least that's what they're telling you until the end. That's why when you go off into, go into the Apocrypha real quick, where the Lord told us to never trust thine enemy. And this is for you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Because who do you think have those particular chronic diseases? Just like when they came with COVID-19, the COVID-19, you know, the vax, they was trying to offer it to who first? You so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans first, because they was trying to act as if they were being nice. You know, we love you. You know, you're disproportionately affected by this particular disease, and we're going to help you first because you're the ones that have it the worst right off, you know. So that's when they get to testing and implementing their bullshit on our people. So you have to really be circumspect of what this man does. And that's why it's so important to read the scriptures as well and know who your enemy is. See, our people don't know that they actually have an enemy. They don't know that there's an actual people that's behind all the shit that's going on with us, you know, as a people. They, you know, they just have no idea. And our people go to this man for wants of all things. We do know that that's a part of the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. But you still should know that this man is your enemy. Because that way, at least you'll know that, okay, this man is my enemy and that I'm in a situation that I'm in because of the disobedience of the children of Israel. But Yahweh Bashim Yahushai is still my source. And so, as I'm going to this man for one of all things, I'm going to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai in prayer first before I go and deal with this guy. Right? But this is Ecclesiasticus 12:10. It says, never trust thine enemy, for like his iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. See, that's a commandment from the Lord. Take good heed and beware of him. Because what is he saying? He's saying tracking devices for every American to combat cancer and chronic disease. So he's humbling himself. He's trying to make it seem as if, okay, we're going to make America healthy again. That's his little mantra. You know, he got the, I think it's MAHA, the red hats, you know. But, you know, his little saying now is make America healthy again, which, you know, it's too much bullshit in America. What the fuck do you mean make America healthy again? By when? Because it would take 100 years for you to wipe out the bullshit agencies that you have set up that pushes laws that have people, you know, that's got people thinking that they're going to these doctors and they taking these medicines and doing all this stuff. You know, you got everything all saturated with all kinds of chemicals. The foods are all fucked up. You know, the water is all fucked up. You got sugary drinks and shit all over the place. Potato chips. Kids is being raised on ramen noodles and damn, you know, candy bars and whatever. You know, it's just, it's too far gone, man. You're not stopping the companies or industries that's pushing the bullshit. You know, he came with that little red dye. We're going to get rid of red dye out of Doritos. Like, what the fuck is that going to do? Compared to all the other shit, you know, you've contaminated all the oceans, the fish. You know, just everything is just tainted with this man. But verse 11 again, it says, though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed. Beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hast wiped a looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rest hath not been altogether wiped away. So, in a nutshell, this man is eventually going to show you his true horns. He's going to be acting as if he's trying to help you, You know, like a horror movie. You know, some of these horror movies. You know, you'll see the woman in the movie, and she's on the side of the road. She caught a flat. She's kind of looking like, you know, she see this car pulling up from behind, and she's a little, you know, weary of you know, dealing with the person. And the man says, you know, hey, yeah, you know, let me help you out. You know, is there, you know, I can, or the car done broke down. You know, you see those movies, car done broke down. Oh yeah, I can get you into town, and I'll have my friend come and pick it up. He's a tow truck driver. He owns a mechanic shop, and he can see what's going on with it, and they can get you on the road. But in the meanwhile, let me help you out. And you're kind of weary of it. You're like, well, and then they insist with that smile on their face. This man is like the man in the horror movie. So, and once he gets you in the car, you know, get you somewhere, and he chills for a minute, you know, offers you some food, offer you some water, some drink, you're laughing, campfire and shit going. Then next thing you know, things start to get all blurry, and you wake up chained up. That's the way that this man gets down. You know what I'm saying? He comes at you all cheery. Oh yeah, let me help you. So you have to know your enemy. That's the reason why a lot of our people get caught up into some bullshit, because they just don't know. And our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. So our people fall for a lot of this man's bullshit. But a little more information that I had got in this particular article. Okay, well, it says Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has revealed an ambitious plan to fit every American with a tracking device within the next 4 years. Not just a few, not just the people that choose to do it, because you got a lot of people out here. I was looking at a movie the other night, and some tracking device shit ended up popping up. You know what I'm saying? On some I think it's EGK. I can't even think what the name of the damn company was. And then I went on YouTube to look it up, and this company done been around for like 10 years. It's like some shit that, you know, you put on your skin. It's like a little it's not that big, but it's connected with your phone. You put it on your ankle or on your knee, and it gives the readings of your, you know, what's going on the inside of your body. You know? So yeah, I'm thinking like, you know, like, well, damn, you know, they moving along with this stuff, man. This stuff, the technology of them wanting to get inside your body is there, right? So here's a couple of these things that they're talking about. He says in the next 4 years, man, the Health and Human Services Secretary revealed his intentions during a House hearing, stating that devices similar to Apple Watch, Fitbit, Whoop, or Ring are key to MAHA agenda. MAHA is Make America Healthy Again, right? So remember when COVID went down and the NBA was down, and I think they were in Orlando and they was in the bubble? They had on these Oura Rings, right? It says he believes that these technologies can empower individuals to enhance their health. See, there you go with they go humbling and crouching themselves, right? They want to take care of you. They want you to be healthy. Facilitating weight loss and encouraging regular exercise while promoting good judgment about their diets, their physical activity, how they live their lives. So in the meanwhile, while they're telling you that they're trying to help you be healthy, what are they doing with your data? It's all about surveillance. Matter of fact, you can actually see what's being advertised in this particular article. They keep showing this Arlo, protect your home day and night with these cameras. Motherfuckers looking at you day and night with on cameras that you supposedly bought, collecting your data, listening in on your conversation in your house. You know, you speak on something, and then next thing you know, you're seeing a fucking commercial flashing across your damn TV or your phone. Okay, but it says to ensure that a smartwatch, ring, or monitor reaches every American, RFK Jr. announced plans for one of the biggest advertising campaigns in history aimed at encouraging widespread use. The devices vary in price from $99 to nearly $800. You don't think that these people are invested into this? You don't think that these billionaires, these you don't think that there's already investments into these things where they're gonna push for this thing to go through so that they can make this money? These billionaires, these one percenters, they're getting richer off of trying to tell you that you're unhealthy, and you don't even know what they putting into your food and your water and shit. So somebody about to get, you know, if time went on, because we know that this place is going to be destroyed soon, but if time went on and I was just a regular old person that's just out here just thinking that life was going to go on as usual, and I had somewhat of some sense, I will put stocks into stuff like this, because this right here is the kind of shit that's gonna make all the money in the, people that invest into something like this right now, they could be filthy rich, man, in the next 5-10 years or so. And you got this company, Nvidia, I think just as of today or yesterday, they just hit $4 trillion, man. Matter of fact, let me see something real quick. Shalakia, bear with me real fast. Yeah, so I just asked ChatGPT. It says, here's the latest on Nvidia's astonishing 4 trillion milestone. And this is the biggest chip company right now in the world, man. And so they developing the chips. The chips is already out here. Don't think that they don't have, chips that can go inside your ass. All this stuff is being done. But it says Nvidia reaches $4 trillion market cap. And their stocks right now is at $162.88 today. It's up to $2.84. So somebody made some money, man. So historic achievement on July 9th, 2025. Nvidia became the first ever public company to hit $4 trillion market capitalization, fueled by its AI dominance and explosive demand for its chips. See? Hey, I'm telling you, man, see. So let me grab another quick scripture. Because you got these camps out here bullshitting around instead of telling our people what's coming down the pipe here, man. These people are getting ready to set this shit up, man. So while all the bullshit is going on in the backdrop, they got you focused on the floods. They got you focused on, still focused on the Diddy bullshit. You got your little sport still going on. They bring the NFL back in soon. They got people focused on, the floods out in Texas, all these different things. But while people are concerned with all this damn bread and circus, this man is setting up to chip your ass. Revelation 13:16, it says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? And that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Now, I was watching the Apostle Tahar yesterday. He had a short video up. He was going up into, it was a video of some women complaining about going to Walmart and not being able to get the products that they need right off, like quickly, like stuff that $2-3 shit that you can normally walk up, pick up, put into the basket and roll on along and do your shopping, and move to the next aisle. I need this or I need that. Those things now, they have locked in cases or locked in cages, and where you have to push a button to get an assistant to come and open the damn case for you to get you what you need. And I remember like 2 or 3 weeks back when I was watching the video, I'm thinking like, well, yeah, I kind of remember I went into Walmart, because I go in there like every other day here and there, because it's right up the street from my job on my way home from work. So I'm able to just kind of just stop, grab what I need and keep it moving. And so I went in one day, and they, how they have those companies that come in and they do inventory. They count every single thing in the store. And so I went in, and then the next day, the next time I went in, which was a couple of days later, everything that I used to just be able to just walk up and grab, that shit was all in cages, all in those glass cases where you got to push a button, call an assistant, and you might be there forever. But what the Apostle was going into was that, to keep you from, he was like, I forgot what he called it, but it's like predictive programming. But for you to not have to wait that long, you have that chip and you can just access it by, waving your goddamn chip. And now you into the casing, you've gotten what you need, and it's already being deducted from your bank account. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? So this man, he's moving on. The people already there, because people are already wearing these wearables that this guy's talking about in this article. It's people out here, they couldn't survive without their Apple phone and their Apple Watch, Apple Pay, things of that nature. They just can't. They're so used to it, especially this newer generation. See, they're not so concerned about the older generation, even though the older generation trying to keep up. And a lot of the older generation, hey, they own it. I'm not going to front, they own it. Like my dad, shit, my old man, shit, he more computer tech savvy and shit like that than I am. And I actually put him on game back in the days. I was telling him, like, well, Dad, you're getting older. You know what I'm saying? Like, this new technology is coming through. smartphones and stuff and these computers and stuff. I said, well, hey, get into it. You know what I'm saying? You never know how long you may live, man. And then now he done kind of surpassed me when it comes to certain shit. But I mean, it is what it is. But let me go back. Because, see, this is one of those wearables. This was the ring that LeBron James and them was all wearing. Remember, in the bubble, they was wearing these rings, these Aura rings, and it was keeping up with their sleep. It was tracking their breathing. It was tracking, and they done it all all for the sake of keeping, the NBA still running, and going, during the COVID-19, and that's actually, that kind of killed basketball too. They be talking about the ratings and the viewership on NBA. I know that had a lot to do with the downfall of the NBA because that shit got boring as hell. People just kind of started binge watching a bunch of other bullshit. They just went into, a lot of these sports, like how it's just a lot of companies dwindled during that time. But anyway, let's get the rest. It says, Kennedy suggested that officials are exploring how the government could fund these devices for some Americans. Okay, yeah, so how you gonna fund this? They gonna make you work for it. It's gonna come out of your damn pockets, the taxpayers' pockets. This plan is the latest initiative in his Make America Healthy Again mission and aligns with his commitment to uncovering and addressing increasing rates of cancer, chronic disease, and autism among young people. Well, why is there all this cancer out here to begin with? Why is it all this chronic disease and autism out here to begin with? And you're just talking about monitoring some shit. Why aren't you getting to the source of, because you're not saying what the source is. Why do these people have all these diseases? Why is all this shit going on? Why aren't you regulating these companies? Why aren't you saying, hey, we're going to shut this down. We're going to you shutting down every goddamn thing else that you deeming to be, so they have the power to actually go in and say to Nestle or to say to a fucking Kraft or a Hillshire Farm or whoever the fuck, you know what I'm saying? Who's ever selling what? They're regulating these companies to begin with. They're already over these companies. They already know what these companies are doing and producing, but their FDA is allowing a bunch of bullshit to slide through because it's all about money. These people don't care, man. They don't care about your health. They fronting like they do. It says, however, some commenters noted that this proposal seems counterintuitive for the health secretary who has previously decried a surveillance state. Remember, this is what he was on before Trump pulled him in. He was one of those guys that was running for president. Remember, he was running for president. And he could, had a nice considerable amount of votes considering his stance on people not being surveilled like how they trying. Now he's all with it. Now he's with, just like Trump. When Trump first came in, what was he talking about? He was talking about certain things that on his campaign, and all of a sudden he done flipped script on y'all asses. Now he's got a whole technical campaign of people around him, so to speak. He's dealing with all these tech companies. He's dealing with all these these chip companies. And you have to realize too, the reason why they want Taiwan to be protected so guarded so well because of China, because Taiwan is one of the biggest tech companies. I mean, or they make a lot of the chips in the world too. So they trying to keep everybody trying to get their portion. In America, they definitely trying to get their portion. They playing catch up game right now. So with their catch up game, they don't give a fuck about the citizens. They're doing a lot of draconian shit. They're about to start pushing through a lot of stuff. That dollar gonna get to falling, and they're gonna push a lot of this stuff on the people. They're gonna make you want to come and get that shit. They're gonna have these people crawling to them to get this stuff, man. So everything is in place. We just got to see how it's all gonna work out, and it really is the Lord. It's really the Lord. You know what I'm saying? He's the one that's formulating all this stuff. Okay, but it says, during his presentation to the Energy and Commerce Health Subcommittee, pay attention, the Energy and Commerce Health Subcommittee, Kennedy remarked, we think that wearables are key to the MAHA agenda, making America healthy again. The health secretary explained how wearables allow individuals to take control of their health They can see what food is doing to their glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat. Well, the Lord gave the medicines out of the earth, roughly paraphrasing. We used to be able to just plant a garden, have the freshest vegetables right at our fingertips. Now all of a sudden, you done fucked all that up. You spraying damn chemtrails in the air right now. I'm outside, and it's got like a insect propellant type of smell to the air. The air just smell like like, you know, when you spray like something like Raid or something. You know, that goddamn roach spray. That's what the air smelled like. As soon as I came outside, I'm like, damn, what the fuck is that? You know? Okay, but it says they can see what food is doing to your glucose levels, their heart rates, and a number of other metrics as they eat. And they can begin to make good judgments about their diet, about their physical activity, about the way they live their lives. So there you go with him humbling and crouching, you know, trying to act as if, you know, that's like Trump with all this old peace. They're killing a lot of people in Ukraine. I don't like all the deaths. Like, motherfucker, you don't give a fuck about no deaths. You know, you know, that's just his disguise, so to speak. You know, all villains got a disguise. All villains, they mostly, you know, have that disguise as if, you know, it's almost like the Batman hookup or Superman. You know, it's just a reverse. You know, like Superman, he comes to work. You know, he has on a suit and tie with the glasses, and he blends in, you know, with the public. And it's the same way with the enemy. The enemy, he does the same thing. He's like a mirrored effect of you know, of goodness. He's on the left hand side. He's doing things on the left hand side. So he replicates what the Lord does. Is just that it's on the left hand side. See, he's gonna come through too and have on a suit and tie and not show you his real appearance. You know what I'm saying? Because if he came through with his real appearance, you know, people won't fall for the bullshit. But you know, he slips in, he acts as if he cares, and then he gets you, man. The boogeyman, man. It's like this motherfucker, he's a walking horror movie. Okay, so I don't want to keep this long, so let's get a little more. It says, when asked whether the federal government might subsidize the devices, here we go. Here go the money. He indicated, you know, the Ozempic is costing $1,300 a month. If you can achieve the same thing with an $80 wearable, it's a lot better for American people. We're exploring ways to make sure that those costs can be paid for. Recent surveys suggest that over 40% of American adults, here we go, approximately 103 million people already utilize a wearable device. Now, how do they know that? Because they're keeping up with the data. They know what's being sold. They know who's dealing with, you know, Apple Watches, the Fitbits, and, you know, just keeping track. A wearable device can be considered your cell phone. You know? So they know that, you know, a lot of these numbers, it says, they already utilize a wearable device reflecting similar statistics about the obesity epidemic in the country. Man, they ain't going to stop these people from eating. These people want something to eat. You think a damn watch gonna stop a person from eating an extra cheeseburger? You crazy. I seen a chick yesterday in Walmart and shit, man. And the girl, she looked like she couldn't have, man, she looked like she was about 18. But man, that bitch was so goddamn big. I was like, god damn. She was leaning over the basket. And, you know, she had shit in her basket. But she was opening snacks. Walking through the store, leaning over the basket, eating the snacks. And she's walking down the aisles. Shopping for the rest of her stuff. Big as hell. That girl had to been at least, I mean, every bit of 400 and some change pounds. You're not about to stop nobody like that from wanting a extra fucking bacon cheeseburger, a extra a small, medium size or a large pizza. They eat it that easily. I know that girl can sit down and she can eat two large pieces in one setting by herself with a fucking 3-liter soda next to her, man. I know she could, easy. I can see the way that she was leaning over. She could barely walk. And she was young. And then she kind of looked at me and shit, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm just kind of, you know, I kind of glanced like, you know, I didn't want to stare her down. But I'm looking like, god damn, bitch, you can't wait till you get out of the store with your purchase? She was opening up that shit in that basket. So you're not going to be able to stop these people from eating like that. But guess what? When you shut down the food source and you shut down the water source, or you telling these people that's addicted to Mountain Dew, Pepsi, Gatorade, all this other shit that they can no longer have those things until they take that chip, they're going to go and take that fucking chip. They're going to go and take that fucking chip, man. Because the main thing is, the main thing that they're going to really be able to get the people with is the food and the water. Or the, shit that you have to eat. Because you got to eat. You got to, have something to drink. You know what I'm saying? To survive, you have to have some water. And so this man, he done buckled down on all the resources. And they know what people like. Don't think that they don't know the data on what people are into, and don't think that they don't know, man. These people are addicted. The additives, the addiction is in the food. It's people more addicted to food than drugs. You might talk shit about a crackhead. You can talk all the shit you want about a person that may force a needle into their arm, or a person that may take fentanyl. But guess what? Your fucking children are more addicted to the foods than these people actually. They got a better chance of getting off cocaine or some shit than some of this food, man. So when that shit hits the fans, and a big girl like I seen in Walmart, she can't get nothing to eat, bitch gonna lose her mind, bro. She's gonna definitely eat somebody in the house. Okay, but anyway, it says the market features more than 38 brands and hundreds of devices. Here you go. So the technology is out here. It says with one-time purchases priced between $99 and $800, or a subscription model exceeding $200 annually. So you got companies, man, they about to get, this is all about getting paid. They don't care nothing about your health. They'll produce a health problem for your ass to just get this shit, which that's what they've been doing anyway. It says these options include watches, rings, and glucose monitor devices that can be injected for up to 15 days of continuous monitoring. Injected into what? Your ass. Surgeon General Casey Means frequently showcased a large gold ring on her index finger, resembling the Oura ring. So she probably got some above the regular citizen shit, of course. A popular choice among health enthusiasts. Many medical professionals support the use of the wearables by tracking exercise, heart rate, sleep, and steps. Why do you need to know where I'm sleeping, how I'm sleeping, my steps? Why do you need to know my heart rate, my track? I'm going to the gym. I'm breaking a sweat. I'm doing my own thing. But see, he done made it to the point where we can fine tune that, and people with stuff like that. People be running with this one size fit all shit, but you different from the next person. It says Kennedy proposal received mixed reactions on social media platform X. Supporters hailed it as a great idea, noting it would not only save lives, it would continue to save countless dollars and preserve quality of life. That's them crouching, humbling them, crouching themselves. But what does the scripture say again? Never trust thine enemy. Conversely, critics expressed outrage, reminding Kennedy of his previous arguments against similar technology, stating, "You used to rage about these very subjects. You even made money speaking against EMFs, biometric surveillances, 5G, health privacy, and so on." But guess what? They done got to him. Just like they got to Trump. He was talking shit about all this stuff just recently, just before Trump pulled him in. It says the health secretary has previously argued that electromagnetic radiation from such devices, even at low levels, can cause neurological damage and trigger cellular damage, even cancer, acclaimed the FDA disputes. See? So they're causing the bullshit and then telling you, well, we can help you out. That's why, I try my hardest to, stay away from these phones and stuff as best I can, unless I'm doing a lesson or if I'm listening to a lesson or something like that, you know what I'm saying? I need to probably start just turning on my little Bluetooth speaker or something and leaving the phone, at least, give you some space away from this shit. You know what I'm saying? The phone constantly in your pocket, the constantly in your hand. Hey, that shit, man, it's, this man is devious, man. You don't know what's going through a fucking cell phone, especially with these young developed kids. You got these kids sitting in a damn stroller with a fucking iPad, clicking away as if they're just a grown up in a fucking office building, man, working a damn job in a cubicle. These kids are, you know, you can come across a damn 5-year-old, man, and he'll work a goddamn iPad faster than your ass would, man. But anyway, I'm going to end out. It says, the Surgeon General remains optimistic about wearables, calling them the most powerful technology for generating the data and awareness to rectify our bad energy crisis in the Western world. In addition to her public health advocacy is a co-founder of Levels, a company providing continuous glucose monitors and other health trackers where subscribers pay $1.99 annually for their services. And so, you know, they all of them in on it, man. They all in on the game as far as the stocks, shit like that. Because there's money at this stuff, man. You know, you have to, really realize who you're dealing with. This man is your enemy. He's not, he's gonna make it seem as if he wants to help you. It's nothing but, it's no different than, it's just, that's your typical schemer. That's your typical 3-card Molly guy. You know what I'm saying? That's your, this motherfucker is like a good magician, so to speak. You got people. Remember back in the days, you had people like David Copperfield and all these illusionists. Basically, it's a movie called The Illusionist. But they make it seem as if everything is gonna be all right, and that they can help you. They call them, what's they call them? Snake oil salesmen back in the days. They're gonna lie to you about some shit, you know what I'm saying? You get the product and then it ain't what you done been gypped. Now they gone. You can't even get your money back. They done sold you on this shit is gonna do this and it's gonna do that. It's like a car, man. You buying a car and they call it a lemon. The car look good. It's shined all up. The damn rims is good. The fucking tires is all armor all up, And then it's set up just to make it a few miles. By the time you done spent your money on it, and you wake up the following day trying to start that motherfucker up, that bitch don't start. They got you. It's over. That's Esau. That's Esau in a nutshell, man. So, I just wanted to just touch on this for a hot second. You can see the people in the comment boards, they are not with it, man. Because people are catching on. People know what's happening with a lot of this tech, man. People starting to realize what's popping. Somebody says tracking device on me, no way. But they don't understand. I mean, your phone is a tracking device. It's tracking you anyway. But they understand that a phone can be thrown away. A phone can be, tossed. And then what do you think they're going to do from a wearable? They know that you can take a damn Oura Ring off or a Fitbit off or Apple Watch off. They know that you can take that shit off. Even though you may be addicted to the services of it. But, they know that you can take that shit and toss it. But the ultimate tracking device that they want to put into you is that micro chip, that microchip, man. Revelation 13:16. As a matter of fact, let me end out with the punishments for taking that shit. Let me read Revelation 13:16 again. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. So you're not going to be able to move about in society. It's not just going off into buying a damn cheeseburger. This is going off into being able to, buy a car, or buying car insurance, or buying some damn clippers to cut your hair with, some damn nail clippers to cut your damn fingernails with, to buy toothpaste, to buy shit paper, to buy some socks and drawers. It ain't gonna make no difference what it is. You're not gonna be able to buy nothing. You're not gonna be able to move about in public. You're not gonna be able to walk into a liquor store or walk into everything is gonna be to the point of beeping on your ass or a checkpoint of a barcode on your ass, man. A checkpoint for your ass. Why you could think they got all these checkout registers? Revelations 14:9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. So it's going to be a serious punishment that comes to the people that actually, because if you take it, what you're doing is you're going to be making this man your God. Hey, what's going on now? Yeah, everything good. What's good? It's gonna, it's gonna, you're basically gonna be saying, well, this man is my God, basically. I'm going to him. It's basically the ultimate idol worship. And the Lord is a jealous power. We're already in the shit that we're in because of idol worship. But this shit right here, it will be the ultimate idol worshiping, man, I think, Not to say that it's no different than any other idol worship. I'm not saying it like that. But this right here is going to be some shit that you can't come back from. At least if you worshiping an idol as far as like white Jesus, we know that that's an idol. But, the Lord, he can pull you away from that. And especially if you're a part of the elect, you're going to be into this truth. You're going to be remorseful of ever actually doing it, worshiping white Jesus and shit like that. So you can be good on that level. But now, if you take this man's microchip, if you let this man put this shit in you, you're done. You're going to get this demise right here. So now, Revelation 16:2, it says, and the first went and poured out his vial upon the earth, and there fell a noisome and grievous sword upon the men which had the mark of the beast, and upon them which worshipped his image. So that's another thing that's gonna jump off with a lot of people once they take that shit. It's gonna fuck you up. It's gonna kill a lot of people right off the jump. You know what I'm saying? Just like with the COV. What did the COV jump shot do to people? It's people out here dropping motherfucking dead right now, still. All this old young ass people, you know what I'm saying? Little young athletes and shit at the prime of their life, in the best so-called health of their life, falling the fuck over from heart attacks and things of that nature. We done seen some. I'm not gonna go too far into it because you know how YouTube get now. But the history and now all the stories are coming out. Now they openly admitting that we didn't know it all, or it's this and this. But before, they was telling you that you couldn't go into this building or go into that building without a mask on. Certain jobs you couldn't work without this particular jumpy, man. You couldn't communicate. You couldn't even communicate with your family. Like you couldn't, that COV9, man, that 19, that shit shut down a lot of people's relationships. People was getting divorces. You had the anti-vax against the vax. Like, oh, you talk that shit, I ain't fucking with you. Oh, you didn't, I ain't fucking with you. So it was a lot of back and forth. It split up a lot of families. You'd be surprised at a lot of the divorces that went down at that particular time. Kids being pulled away. So this man, he causes discord amongst men. The scriptures talks about that. That's one of the things that the Lord hates. That's an abomination to the Lord to cause division and discord among family. And and that was one of the things that ultimately it fucked up a lot of businesses, a lot of stuff. The world changed, man, within the past 5 years, real cold. Real cold, man. So now all of a sudden, here you go, Trump, he's back in here to overall, so, clean shit up from what Biden and them so-called done. Now, 6 months in, people starting to see, damn, we just voted in the fucking devil. So, I mean, it is what it is, man. But again, I'm not going to keep it much longer. I just seen this article, and I noticed those wearables and some of the stuff that they're talking about, because they really going to start pushing this stuff, man. They're really going to start pushing for this stuff, man. So we have to be ready and prepared for it, to reject this stuff. Because we're dependent upon Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Fuck Esau and his technology, his bullshit ass science, man. This dude don't do nothing. Everything that this guy put together, it destroys people. He always comes at you, just like a car. You driving a car, he came at you with, we're going to be able to get around, faster, and, we're moving in the world. But think about how many millions of people done died in car accidents in this man's product. And then they'll tell you, well, had they just been, following the rules, and we have the, we gave them the handbook, now to watch and keep both hands on the steering wheel. Like, who the fuck you think people gonna really be doing shit like that? You know what I'm saying? People eating cheeseburgers and while they driving, they doing makeup and shit. Especially, hey, check out some morning rush hour with some of these people that be on the freeways and highways, driving 80 miles a fucking hour, man, while distracted in every kind of way. But he's telling you, oh yeah, well, you can get to work faster, you can get to your plantation faster, and that's just one thing. That's like, his drive-through restaurant shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, you're hungry. You can get something now. Now people are addicted to pulling up and buying some shit that don't have no nutrition in it. Some ultra-processed foods and shit. And then they running these fucking commercials on your television set, triggering a nerve in your ass and make you get up at 10 o'clock at night to go through a drive-through and grab a fucking a Big Mac combo, bro. They know what's up. They this is what they've done. This man, the scriptures talks about how this man, he let me see. I'm gonna grab one more and I'll end out. That's lucky. Let me go into the blue letter. That scripture where it talks about he's wiser than Daniel. Because he studies everything. Especially you Israelites. He studies your ass to the T. Yep, Ezekiel 28:3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. See? So it's nothing that you can hide from Esau. Now he wants to get into your body. He wants to know your sugar levels. He wants to know, how many steps you took today. He wants to know your heartbeat. And they can track all that shit for the week. Because guess what? There's a log of that. Because if you downloading the app that comes with the phone, generally that's how it pretty much goes. You can get a cheap ass watch. It ain't even got to be one of these more expensive ones. You can get a cheap ass watch. You connect that app with your phone, and next thing you know, the GPS location is on, and it's tracking your every step, everywhere that you go. Whether it's a bicycle ride, you goes off into cycling, walking, jogging, running. You're on a elliptical system. You're on a treadmill. That should keep up with everything. Your heart rate, as how many beats per minute your heart is beating while you're doing it. They on top of all that. So Esau, he already know. He want to take it a step further though, and he's not going to stop, because the scripture says that this man, he can never have enough. He's not going to stop there. You think that this man is going to stop with a damn wearable ring or a Fitbit? He got enough information. He got enough right now for the people to somewhat, get a little healthier, so to speak, But if he's fucking you over with the food to begin with, and your water, then what chances do you have anyway? So all that wearable shit is just all about keeping track of your ass, man. A damn helicopter flying over the hood right now, trying to chase somebody down. Anyway, I'm gonna end out there. I pray that the lesson was edifying. With that, Kwam Yashala and a Bible Ball.